Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Alhamdulillah nahmaduhu wa nasta'inuhu wa nastaghfiruhu wa nu'minu bihi wa natawakkalu alayhi wa na'udzu billahi min shururi anfusina wa min sayyiati a'malina man yahdihillahu fala mudilla lahu wa man yudlil fala hadiya lahu. Wa nashhadu an la ilaha illallah wahdahu la sharika lahu wa nashhadu anna sayyidana wa sanadana wa habibana wa maulana Muhammad abduhu wa rasuluh sallallahu tabaraka wa ta'ala alayhi wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي سبحانك لا علم لنا إلا ما علمتنا إنك أنت العليم الحكيم ربي زدني علما وارزقني فهما. My dear brothers, sisters, elders, young ones in Islam, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. MashaAllah, welcome back to another episode of Your Health. Alhamdulillah. We have been speaking about mental health and states of neurosis and psychosis and mental illness, and no doubt there is a rise in the state of mental unwellness. But as you see sometime, when some people park in areas where it says disability only, like Morrison's and these will say it in supermarkets, जहाँ जगह होती है और वहाँ लिखा होता है कि सिर्फ लोग जो डिसेबल्ड हैं उन्हीं के लिए यहाँ पार्किंग है, तो बाज़ मरतबा जो लोग पार्क वहाँ करते हैं वो निकलते हैं और ऊपर से नज़र आता है कि वो ठीक ठाक हैं, उनको कोई जिस्मानी तकलीफ़ नहीं होती. Many a times we see people who are physically they're fine, but they use the disability parking bays, and we quickly rush to pass judgment. We think these guys are being very unfair. They're taking places which are reserved for people who are disabled, and we kind of fix disability with physical disability only, and we pass judgment. हम समझते हैं कि जो लोग डिसेबल्ड हैं वो सिर्फ फिज़िकली डिसेबल्ड होते हैं, जो बिल्कुल गलत है. बहुत सारे लोगों की बीमारियां उनकी जहन के अंदर रहती हैं. Many people's illnesses live in their minds. This is what we call mental illness, and mental illness is obviously to do with the psyche and the mind. Today I want to speak to you about a illness which affects predominantly ladies only, known as postpartum depression, i.e. feeling down and in the blues, feeling in a sad mood for a protracted period of time. After a lady gives birth to a child, did you know that after a lady gives birth to a child, she is 80%, she is very, very, in all her life, she is more likely to be admitted to a psychiatric hospital because of mental illness after she's given birth than in any other time of her life. A lady in her life, however long it may be in this dunya, Allah bless everybody with a long and happy and helpful and grateful and a completely good life in the dunya. But when it comes to ladies, a lady is much more likely to be admitted into a psychiatric hospital, a psychiatric ward of a hospital due to mental illness after she's given birth to her child than she would be in any other point in her life. Meaning that a lady after giving birth is immensely vulnerable, both mentally and both physically. जो खातून होती हैं जब उनके यहाँ वज़े हमल होता है, जब उनका बच्चा पैदा हो जाता है, तो उस वक़्त जो ख़वातीन होती हैं वो यानी जिस्मानी तौर पर और ज़हनी तौर पर बहुत ही ज़्यादा कमज़ोर हो सकती हैं. और उस वक़्त यानी अगर उनको कोई ज़हनी बीमारी हो तो सबसे ज़्यादा उनको होने वाले यानी इम्कान उसी वक्त होगा कि बच्चे की विलादत के बाद उनको ये जहनी बीमारियां नुमायां हों, और इससे बढ़कर उनके लिए जहनी हस्पताल के अंदर दाखिला का होना यानी पूरी ज़िंदगी के अंदर सबसे ज़्यादा ख़तरनाक उसी वक्त हो सकता है कि, और उसी वक्त उसका वक़ू पज़ीर होना, यानी द मोस्ट प्रोबेबल टाइम ऑफ being admitted because of mental illnesses, because of vulnerabilities is at that time. जब बच्चा पैदा होता है या जब बच्ची पैदा होती है तो उस वक़्त सबसे ज़्यादा इम्कान होता है कि औरत ज़ाद वहाँ हस्पताल के अंदर दाखिल होने के वजूहात पैदा हों. So a lady is highly vulnerable. So today we want to speak about this postpartum depression. Yeah, something which you can't see in front of you. If someone's disabled, they've got al-iyadu billah, a finger's missing, a hand missing, two hands missing. You can see they are physically unwell. When it comes to mental illness, these signs are not always visible. Now, the same applies to postpartum depression. Many ladies have this. 1 in 10 ladies can have postpartum depression. But 40 to 80% of ladies can feel the blues. 40 से 80% औरतें जो हैं वज़े हमल के बाद, बच्चियों की विलादत के बाद, उनका जो ज़हनी यानी तवाज़ुन के ये ज़हनी जो एहसासात हैं उनके अंदर एक किस्म का नुज़ूल हो जाता है. It goes down. उनके अंदर यानी बेचारियों ने बच्चों की वलादत के लिए अव्वल तो 9 माह बच्चे को अपने पेट के अंदर उठाना, अल्लाह अकबर, बहुत ही बड़ी बात है, बहुत ही बड़ी बात है. Carrying a child in the womb for 9 months, subhanallah, it's an amazing thing. It's very difficult. It's extremely difficult. Subhanallah, there's a famous story of a person who was disrespectful to his mother and he was very abusive. So what the king did, he said, fine, your punishment is that I am going to tie a heavy stone to your stomach for the period of 9 months. That's your punishment. You're going to carry this stone around for 9 months so you can have an inkling of how it feels for your mother to have carried an imbecile like you around. So this is what they did. And what did the king do? He appointed a guard. That this guard will stay with you and he will make sure that you walk around with this certain way for your waking hours and your sleeping hours. My friends, this person carried this way for all of maybe 1 day and 1 night. After that, this person broke down. He couldn't carry this anymore. So much so, his own mother had compassion on him, and she herself went to the king, was it Harun Rashid, or another king of that era, and begged the king to put her child out of this misery and remove this stone. But the point I'm making is that it's very difficult to kind of have a child in your stomach for 9 months. And then, the child is being created by in the body. Everything you eat double. You're eating for yourself and for the child. And the child's brain is being made by the mother's omega-3 fatty acids. If she doesn't eat plenty of fish, and she doesn't eat all these omega-3s and omega-6s, then that child will scavenge this from the mother's own brain. And this is a fact. This is why, many ladies, after they have childbirth, they succumb to postnatal depression. Lack of omega-3 fatty acids, lack of fish oil. And especially, my patients, alhamdulillah, we always tell them to have omega-3s in the last trimester, sometime in the second trimester as well. Why? So the child's mind can be made from these extra omega-3s. And children who are born like this, mashallah, they're very intelligent, alhamdulillah. They're very clever. They talk quickly, they develop quickly, they do well in school, they're more calm. So if you don't do that and you have less omega-3 in your body, in your diet, then the child will then scavenge from you. And it doesn't stop there. When the child is born and you want to fulfill, the command of Allah, that you want to feed the child, yeah. والوالدات يرضعن أولادهن حولين كاملين لمن أراد أن يتم الرضاعة. Allah Ta'ala says in the Quran that the parents who want to fill the complete term of giving their child milk is 2 years. So for 2 years, the mother is giving breast milk, her breast milk, to her child. At that point, that child is going to be taking what else he needs to take to develop his mind, because he's a small nanna manna child, girl or boy, and her brain is developing, getting bigger. So it still needs the constituents of the brain, which are more, the grey matter is omega-3 fatty acids. So it'll continue to take from the mum. Can you imagine? This lady's carried a child for 9 months. She's been through childbirth. Okay, in developed countries, it's still very, very painful. Okay, whether it's a C-section, whether it's normal delivery, it's very, very painful. La ilaha illallah. They say the equivalent of pain for males, if you want to see how painful it is, to get an inkling of it, is gallbladder colic. When your ureters are trying to pass these kidney stones and they're stuck, Allahu Akbar, and they're stuck in an area which is like the meatus of your urethra or your private part. It's very, very, very painful. But nonetheless, the stone is going through, and I've seen big, strong, healthy men, crying in pain. This is what the lady goes through, and that's just in, that's with the intervention of Western medical science. Imagine these ladies in the developing countries, how much they go through. We've just got a call waiting. We'll go towards the call, inshallah, and then we come back to this topic. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. मैं पूछनी है जी महंगा 3 आखने हो फिश ऑयल नी गोली एवरीडे बंदा खाए के जिसकी ब्लड प्रेशर में हाई हो है.
हाँ देखिए जज़ाकल्लाह, ये जो ब्लड प्रेशर अगर किसी को हो तो उनके लिए ये जो ओमेगा 3 होती, जो ओमेगा 3 के कैप्सूल्स हैं वो भी बहुत ही अच्छी साबित हो सकती हैं. तो अगर किसी को हाई बीपी हो तो अव्वलन तो अपने जो जीपी से वो इलाज कर रहे हैं उसको कायम रखें, और इसके साथ जो है आप ओमेगा 3s आपके जीपी के गाइडेंस के मातहत आप वो शुरू करें. आपको बहुत ही फ़ायदा होगा, क्योंकि ये जो ओमेगा 3s है ये सिर्फ यानी दिमाग के लिए नहीं है, बल्कि ये दिल के लिए भी बहुत ही अच्छे साबित हुए हैं. इस पर बहुत सारे रिसर्च हुए हैं.
एक और गल है जे मेदा बंदे ना खराब है ये हजम नहीं होना खाना, इसने वास्ते कोई दस्या है? हाँ
ज़रूर, आप सुनते जाएं, इंशाल्लाह बताएंगे.
Jazakallah.
So, sister just called in asking for 2 things. First of all, she was asking that if a person has high BP, can they still benefit from omega-3 fatty acids? Omega-3 fatty acids aren't just restricted for the mind. It's not just that they're very good for the mind, and indeed they've won plaudits for the mind. There was a while ago, there was a survey done in the population of certain prisons where people were very rowdy and their behavior was, it was very bad. A lot of violence, a lot of lack of discipline. So what they did was they gave them a certain amount of omega-3, fish oils, and alongside that they also stopped their biscuits and crisp and confectionery. Because you have to understand, a lot of these biscuits have trans fats, fats which have been, chemically altered to make them, last longer on the shelves. But the problem with that is, Adil Bhai, is, I can hear your voice here. The problem with that is, it kinds of, the pathways that lead to your brain, these pathways are blocked by these trans fats, the fats that kind of are chemically altered. So when they go to the brain, the brain is made from these, and number 2, also they block the pathway for the good omega-3 fatty acids. So in this prison study, they stopped the confectionery, and they stopped these biscuits and gave them only good fats. So the result of that was the levels of violence in the prison fell dramatically, and then the authors of the study did it on a grand scale, and again I think 33 or 34% reduction in the bill for managing these offenders. So omega-3s are very good. They're good for your mind, good for your children's mind. And I mentioned before that dyslexia, dyspraxia, ADHD, ADD, all these symptoms of the mind can be greatly helped by omega-3 fatty acids. So yes, they are beneficial for the heart health. Omega-3 fatty acids, the studies have shown, is benefit for heart. In fact, if you look around the areas of the world, places where people have, like the Inuits and the Eskimos, who have a lot of omega-3 fatty acids, then their heart health is phenomenal, mashallah. It keeps the blood, free from lipids. It keeps it running. It reduces the propensity of people to have, myocardial infarctions or heart attacks or heart disease. तो it's very good. दिल के लिए भी omega 3 बहुत अच्छे हैं. इसके साथ और भी चीज़ें हैं, लेकिन omega 3 से आप शुरू ज़रूर करें. पहली the first question was regarding that. And the second question we'll answer in due course. I have forgotten the second question. So if you want to call in again and just remind me, आपका दूसरा सवाल क्या था? हाँ, तो हम यही बात कर रहे थे कि sorry, this question ये था कि liver के बारे में. The sister asked about liver, how to detox the liver. If a person, I mean, you see this with people who go to about age 40, 41, 42, and they've been kind of eating the normal food and not exercising as much and not having a detox, what you will see with these people is that they'll start showing signs of liver detoxification. And these signs are they'll start feeling tired, number one. Number two, they'll have issues digesting their food. And number three, you will see that they will now become prone to things like, maybe hay fever. They'll have small, skin issues, dry skin, or small amounts of eczema on the fingertips, where they'll develop basically allergies to various, like dermatitis symptoms to various products. This is all a sign that you have not been kind to your liver. You've been abusing the liver, simply. Because you see, what happens in our Western society is that we are always grazing. We're always eating. In the morning, breakfast, after breakfast, cup of tea, after cup of tea, maybe a small fruit, after fruit, some snacks, lunch, after lunch, something else, midpoint snack, and then, through the day, then evening, we're always eating. Now, all these things, and other things outside in the traffic, you've got the fumes, you've got aerosols, you've got medications. The liver is the biggest detox organ in your body. Right across here, the liver. This is the biggest detox organ in the body. It cleans, you have something called the hepatic blood supply. From the stomach, anything that goes in, if it's got any chemicals in, even cod liver oil, it'll go from the stomach. If you don't emulsify it with something else, it'll go straight to the liver, and it has an impact on the liver. This is why, you're not allowed to buy more than 8 grams of paracetamol, because after 8 grams, it will cause liver failure, and in doing so, it will cause your death. Many people, al-iyadu billah, they go and they purchase paracetamol to commit suicide. Allah keep everybody safe. And the reason why they can commit suicide is because it causes liver failure. So in our day-to-day lifetime, I was just reading today about the effects of nitrogen dioxide. How, pollution outside. We know, and this is a point I'm saying, that the liver takes all the taklif. $5 trillion every year is lost in the world economy due to, air pollution. And we know it causes problems with the heart and the lungs. In fact, ladies who have given birth to children, in the children's blood, they find traces of heavy metals. Where does it come from? It's come via the mother into the umbilical cord. She's inhaled it. It's bypassed all the protective mechanisms, gone into the mother's blood, and from there via the umbilical cord into the child. And the child is born with, high levels of heavy metals. So the point I'm making is the liver deals with, it detoxifies everything. So if you reach the age of 40 and you don't know how to look after your liver, and you don't know much about, healthy, nutritious food, and that's the vast majority of it, unfortunately, yeah, they don't teach this in school, then you will start showing signs of liver detox. You'll feel tired easily, you'll get fatigued easily, and you will also have these, allergies to various foods, and your food will not be digested. So the best thing for liver detox before we continue with the postpartum issues and the remedies, homeopathic remedies for that, the best thing for liver is something called silymarin extract, or the other name for it is milk thistle. This is one reason why many people have, cirrhosis of the liver or fatty liver disease. It's very dangerous because we don't give our livers any respite. We're always eating, we're always inhaling. In the traffic, we're inhaling the fumes of the cars ahead of us, diesels, intensely polluting vehicles. In our homes, we have, deodorant, we have aerosol, in our bathrooms, we have other chemical products. Everything is going inside. So the study I mentioned earlier on that, $5 trillion is lost to the worldwide economy because of the reaction, because of the sickness and illness due to, contamination caused by pollution. Now they're saying it also causes mental health issues. Subhanallah. Nitrogen dioxide also causes mental health issues, and just a small rise in carbon dioxide, in nitrogen dioxide levels in the air can have an amazingly detrimental effect on mental health, suicide, and also more than that, it lowers the IQ. It lowers the IQ of people who have raised nitrogen dioxide levels in their body. And this is one reason why the sunnah of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, hijama, is so good. It cleans heavy metals out. It detoxifies the body. In fact, I mentioned milk thistle being the best remedy for the liver. The second best remedy for the liver is detoxing the body via hijama. Why? Because it has an amazing reaction on the liver. It takes away the burden on the liver. This is why many people feel very lightheaded after having cupping done on the liver point, on the sunnah points. Why? Because it's a great amount of burden, toxicity that the liver is being unburdened from. So the body feels light. So if you have any liver issues, and even if you don't have liver issues, if you're 40, it's a good time to start detoxifying your body. The first thing is, as I mentioned, milk thistle or silymarin extract. If you can get the maybe 2 or 3 bottles, summer's a good time to detox. Put maybe a ml twice a day in water and drink it in the morning. It'll really help you. मैं यही कह रहा था कि जिनको तकलीफ़ है लिवर की, हमारी बहन ने यही पूछा था, खाने की बदहज़मी वगैरह और बाकी जल्दी अमराज़ों का और एलर्जीज़ का ज़्यादा होना, तो उनके लिए मिल्क थिसल बहुत ही अच्छी दवाई है लिवर को डिटॉक्सिफाई करने के लिए, लिवर पर जो बोझ है उसको हटाने के लिए। और आजकल तो मैं यही कह रहा था कि हमारे जो घरेलू ज़िंदगी है और जो बाहर की ज़िंदगी है, तो इससे हमारा लिवर बहुत ही ख़राब होता है। घर के अंदर हमारे केमिकल प्रोडक्ट्स होते हैं, बाथरूम के अंदर केमिकल प्रोडक्ट होते हैं, एरोसोल्स होते हैं, डिओड्रेंट होते हैं, हमारे खाने भी सही नहीं हैं, उनके अंदर भी केमिकल हैं, बाहर जाएँ तो केमिकल हैं। तो अल्लाह का अजीब शुक्र है कि अल्लाह ताला ने हमें ये लिवर दिया है और जो हमारे जिस्म के अंदर ये ख़राबियाँ हटा सकता है और हमें बदस्तूर यानी लंबी उम्र के साथ आफ़ियत से अल्लाह ताला के करम की वजह से हम जी रहे हैं। लेकिन असरात तो नुमायाँ होते हैं। तो उन असरात में से लिवर का किसी का ख़राब हो तो उसके असर ये हैं कि बदहज़मी होती। बदहज़मी के बहुत वजूहात हैं। एक वजह ये भी है कि आदमी का लिवर ज़रा ख़राब है, फैटी लिवर कहलाए, सिरोसिस ऑफ द लिवर, स्कारिंग ऑफ द लिवर, बदहज़मी हो सकती है। बाकी जो आदमी के नींद आदमी को नींद भी अच्छी तरह नहीं आ सकती लिवर अगर ख़राब हो। और तीसरी बात यह है कि ये जो एलर्जीज़ हैं, चाहे हे फीवर हो या हे पॉलन हो या डंडर हो, जो कुछ भी है, स्नीजिंग, सब आप देखेंगे आजकल तो बहुत ज़्यादा लोगों के अंदर ये एलर्जीज़ हो रही हैं। इसकी एक बहुत बड़ी वजह यही है कि लिवर ख़राब हो रहे हैं और लिवर की डिटॉक्सिफिकेशन की अशद ज़रूरत है। तो मिल्क थिसल आदमी इस्तेमाल करे, बहुत अच्छा है। इसके साथ साथ किसी काबिल यानी अच्छा माहिर हिजामा थेरेपिस्ट के पास जाएं और हिजामा करवाएं। और सबसे बड़ी बात यह है कि अगर खाने पर आप एहतियात करें, यानी असल तो चीज़ ये होती है कि अगर आदमी कर सके तो दिन के 3 हिस्से करे, 2 हिस्से के अंदर खाना ना खाए, 1 हिस्से के अंदर खाना खाए। और इसका तरीका यही है कि सुबह 11 बजे आदमी अपना नाश्ता करे और 11 से लेकर 7 बजे तक आदमी खाने से फारिग हो जाए। So I was just saying that you need to if you want to help your liver, then break the day into 3 parts of 8 hours, 8, 16, 24. 11 o'clock in the morning, you can start having your food all the way to 7 o'clock in the evening. And after 7, you should eat nothing. So from then till next day's 11 o'clock, you have a long time, 16 hours, mashallah. After the break, we're going to discuss various remedies for depression. Please stay with us. We are going to go for a break, and we'll see you inshallah after the break. Until then, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu.